We are your home theater and AV questions answered. This is AVRant. Want your home theater or AV question answered by Tom and Rob? Send it to question@avrant.com. Welcome to AVRant. I'm Tom Andry, and I'm here with
Rob H.
So we're going to keep with the T's and go to Ted. Ted says, since his room is so small, when he upgrades to Atmos, is 5.2.2 the way to go? He does have his tiered seating set up with a back row right up against the back wall, and the front row is only about 4 feet in front of that. He'd like as good an Atmos experience for both rows as possible. Where should he place the overhead speakers? Yeah. So yeah, 5.2.2. You definitely don't want to put any speakers behind you. I mean, because you can't, because it'll hit people in the back of the head, like quite literally, since they're sitting on the back wall. I would put the speakers sort of like basically right above the back row where the back row sits, not the back of the couch, but kind of like right over the heads. Maybe cheat them forward just a little bit.
In other words, just a little bit behind the front row.
Yeah,
just a little bit behind the front row.
And I think that's we could call them top middles.
You'd call them top middles. That's right.
And then you do some front heights. And
yeah, front heights up, high up on your front wall. He's already got these wall-mounted front speakers, huge ones from Legacy, but awesome. So these wall-mounted front speakers. So we're talking about 2 more wall-mounted speakers. The prime elevations could work really nicely here because they are automatically angled down, but high up on your front wall, angled down. Call those front heights, and then 2 in-ceiling or on-ceiling speakers aiming straight down, just slightly behind your front row of seats. Call them top middles. But what we're suggesting is 5.2.4. To me, it's if you're doing this and you're saying Atmos is a key thing I'm trying to do, I always suggest 9 speakers minimum, 5.2.4 minimum. The 5.2.2, you don't get any panning effects overhead front to back.
Right.
You miss out on that.
So wherever his speakers end up being placed, should he hire someone to run the wires, or is it fairly easy to DIY? And would 16 gauge in-wall speaker wire be okay? Is this in the basement?
No, this is a top floor.
If you can get into the attic, this is not hard to do.
Right.
That's the hardest part, is just getting into the attic and getting access to everything. So the question you have, is this difficult? It's technically not, as long as you have access to everything that you need to have access to. So wherever your receiver is, you need to run speaker wire through the wall, up the wall, into the attic, and back out again. That means that the top of that wall, you need to have enough access for you to get a drill in there and drill a hole so that you can get the speaker wire out. And then you just run it across your ceiling to wherever your speaker is going to be, and then that's pretty much it. I mean, it's not rocket surgery here. It is really easy. The access is the hard part, and getting up in your attic, and I guess we're in June now, pretty close to July. So that's going to be the hardest part. If you have the access, it's, even for somebody who's never done it before, it's probably a 2-hour job.
Yeah, the actual mechanics of doing it, not hugely difficult. On the other flip side of that coin is not hugely difficult. So if you were to hire someone to do it, it's not like it's an all-day super expensive job for them. Because if they're experienced,
they're going to charge
they should be
you,
able to bang it out in half an hour.
Right, they're going to charge you a lot.
Yeah, they're going to charge you.
Yeah. And 16 gauge wire is fine.
Absolutely, I mean, especially in a small room in this.
Yeah.
None of your distances are going to be greater than 50 feet, and we're talking Atmos speakers, so absolutely fine to go 16 gauge in-wall wire for that.
So his Pyle Sound Audio 15V subwoofers are sitting directly on his carpet. He's getting noticeable energy going through his floor to the room below. What would we recommend for isolating the subs? Well, lots of mouse pads is what Rob's going to say, because Rob's a crazy person.
You could. You could, although I don't know, a lot of mouse pads might shift around. An interesting thing to know about the 15V, it is a down-firing sub, so that means it has to be elevated somewhat and have a gap underneath it for the air to escape, because the thing is firing down. So it actually is on feet. It's on 4 feet, rather than just having a flat bottom.
You could
So
use the same thing I use, which is SVS Sound Path Isolation feet. Those
I
usually
don't know
work
if they
pretty
have
well.
threaded inserts on the bottom of the feet.
How could they
though.
not have thread insurance? They
Because
have
it's
to.
just like it's like corners. The feet are just like corners. I don't know. I haven't
I'm
looked
looking
at
it up right now.
I know. I haven't seen the bottom of the
doesn't make
15
any sense.
Vs.
I have to
So,
do this over my microphone. I'm sorry for everybody's watching this, but I can't believe that this is the case.
but I wanted to explain a little bit about, he's saying got a carpeted floor, probably has a carpet pad. Why would you still be getting this mechanical vibrational transfer of energy into the floor? Well, it's because we're talking about pounds per square inch.
Yeah.
That's the thing we need to look at. And when you have feet, you have many fewer square inches over which that force is spread, right? You are essentially taking the downward force, the weight of the subwoofer, and channeling it all into 4 points, or in this case, it's like edges, but 4 smaller areas, surface areas. So you have fewer square inches, same number of pounds, so pounds per square inch, higher. It means it's crushing that carpet pad and making physical contact with the subfloor below, vibrating that subfloor. So what you really want to do, I mean, the whole reason putting something squishy underneath it works, first of all, the squishy thing is damping. It's turning some of that physical vibration into heat and dissipating the energy that way. It's also spreading out the force. That's what you're doing. So same number of pounds, but now more square feet, or square inches. So pounds per square inches goes down, that force. So that's what we're trying to do. Spread it out and damp it so that the movement that does get in there turns into heat. Yeah, I mean, the classic answer would have been the Auralex, in your case, great GRAMMA, because the size of that subwoofer is so large it wouldn't fit onto the normal size GRAMMA riser pad. You'd have to go with the great GRAMMA, but they are crazy overpriced, $100 each now, which
What?
is stupid. I mean,
Weren't
it's a
they
piece
like
of
$60 not that long ago?
Exactly. It's a piece
I
of
thought that was overpriced. To be
well,
honest with
I mean,
you.
it's a piece of MDF with some carpet over it and some foam underneath. All right, and then now they're charging $100 for that. So that's ridiculous. So Tom is right. The sound path isolation feet from SVS, very good solution, $50. Normally would screw into the bottom of most subwoofers, but I don't know. Have you found if they have threaded inserts under
does
there?
not. I can't tell. There's
really
no
doesn't
picture
look
of the
like
bottom of it. Doesn't look like it though.
No,
But
because it's like these edges.
It must have some sort of rubber down there. So what is it? It can't just be.
No, it's just the cabinet. The cabinet is just extended.
They have
that way
to have
down.
something down
No,
there though.
there's nothing down there.
No, it's
Power Sound Audio, dude. They
And
just
rattle-
they just cut a piece of MDF on their CNC machine and call it a day. So
I can't find anything in there. I've got the
Yeah.
user manual open and everything.
So
It's the
basically,
worst
what
one.
I'm going to suggest to you, there's a company called Pyle Audio. They make a lot of pro audio equipment. Well, they're now making subwoofer isolation risers that are essentially the same thing as the Auralex GRAMMA, except it's $45 for the size that'll fit nicely under yours. And actually, the dimensions are almost perfect for the 15V from Pyle Sound Audio. I think it's like an inch wider than your sub is wide, and it's the same length. So it actually fit really nicely. $45, Pyle subwoofer isolation stabilizer. That's what you can look up. We'll have the link for that on avrant.com. Yeah.
Once the website
site is
goes
back
back
up and
up.
running.
Yeah.
But in the show notes. But yeah,
I
Amazon.
literally
you
got
can-
an email 2 minutes ago from somebody telling me my site was down.
That's right.
I'm like, it flashed up while I was talking. I was like, oh, it's distracting.
Amazon Pyle subwoofer isolation stabilizer. Pick the correct size, $45, and you're off to the races. So you can make your own. You can make your own for even cheaper. But if you just want to buy something and have it arrive tomorrow, $45, not so
I
bad.
love Auralex, but come on, man, $100 for that thing?
Nuts now.
That's ridiculous. Yeah, build your own. It's just that.
Right.
It's just that foam stuff, that packing foam, basically.
Pretty
is
much.
all it is. You know, and a little
Anything
piece of,
squishy,
just
or you
glue
could
it.
you could take a piece of plywood and put the SVS subwoofer isolation feet into that. Although that's more expensive, so why would you do that?
All right. Anyways, listen to how it works out for you. Want your question answered? Send it to question@avrant.com. This is AVRant.
Now go out and listen to something.